So leaks are suggesting we'll be getting an Intel version of the Mac Pro later this year. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the Tech Show, where we talk your favorite tech and video games, always my own opinions. And today we are talking about the possibility of an Intel Mac Pro that will be released later this year and what that's going to mean for Apple's transition to its own silicon across all devices. So before we get started, you know what to do. Hit the sub button, click the bell so you don't miss as we cover, well, your favorite tech and video games. I'm Chris Grant Jr. It's the Grant Geek Show. Okay, so I'm reading the report from Wesley Hillard of the Apple Insider website, and they're saying this leak is coming from Yuki Ond, who's been reliable in the past, fairly reliable in the past several years, and he's saying that Apple Silicon could be released alongside an Intel version of the Mac Pro. And of course, this device is going to be powerful, but will it really be all that powerful now that Apple has raised the bar with M1? I mean, you've seen so many videos, I'm sure by now, of the M1 Mac Mini or even the M1 iMac now being compared to the current generation of Mac Pro, and in some cases, the Mac Minis and the iMacs are just as fast, if not faster, than the Mac Pro. So I think Intel is that's going to be for those folks who do not want to transition to Apple Silicon or still have Intel critical processes that they use and they need a Mac Pro with Intel. But for all that, I'm like, just stay with the 2019 version. Now it's a year and a half old, of course, at this point, and maybe Apple wants to give those users just one last Intel model as they still have about a year left in their transition to completely Apple Silicon. And you know, here's how this could really backfire. Of course, Apple may be wanting to give Intel users one last Mac Pro device, but it's really an opportunity to embarrass Intel on a global stage once and for all. But you see, when Apple releases their Apple Silicon version of the Mac Pro with its 128 cores and whatever other crazy GPU cores it has, I think it's going to straight up embarrass the Intel version of the Mac Pro. And not only that, the Apple Silicon Mac Pro is set to be like half the size of the Mac Pro. So you're going to be getting, I guarantee, a more powerful computer in a smaller package than what this Intel version is. And that could end up backfiring in another way too, because once people see the comparison, many of the Intel only Mac users are going to be like, well, dag, I'm not going to pay nearly the same price. We don't know anything about the pricing for these two devices yet. Going off what the previous version is, we can only guesstimate what the Intel version of the Mac Pro will be, but who knows? But it's going to be a done deal for a lot of folks. And so Apple, while they spent all that money to create these new Intel Mac Pros, nobody's going to want to buy them if they're anywhere near the same price, and you see these benchmarks coming out from both of them. Now, some people are entertaining the idea that only the Intel Mac Pro would be coming out this year, as Apple, yes, still has another year to make good on their promise of transitioning completely to Apple Silicon within the next 2 years. Before I talk about that, if you watch the Grant Geek Show, you know that I really only collaborate and work with brands that I really do believe in, and I love their products, and I use their products. And when it comes to protecting your iPad screen, there is nothing better that I have found than Paperlike, and I want to shout them out for sponsoring this video. Paperlike, it really is all in the name. They give you a perfectly paper-like grain screen protector for your iPad that is awesome for writing and drawing. I've loved it as a student for doing assignments and stuff like that, and I don't have to print out paper, but I can actually write. And they've managed to do this while having literally, I can't discern any loss in clarity, which is awesome for watching movies and stuff like that. It offers that anti-reflective surface while still functioning as writing paper, and with, like I said, I haven't discerned any loss in clarity at all. So I truly do love the product. Thank you to Paperlike once again for sponsoring the video, and if you want to get your hands on some Paperlike, of course my link is down in the description below, and you'll thank me later. Now, I can't really back this up, but I don't think there's a high likelihood of that happening, just an Intel version of the Mac Pro, mainly because I don't think Apple's going to wait the whole 2 years to transition everything, especially when we already have rumors about what the M1 Mac Pro is going to be and look like already here, and they already are able to put the M1X in MacBook Pros and stuff like that. Maybe they got delayed. That's why they didn't come out WWDC, and because maybe they're coming out later in the year, maybe the Mac Pro would come out in 2022, but that would be the full 2 years that Apple said it would take for them to transition fully to Apple Silicon. So who knows? I think either could happen, but I think there's a higher chance of them releasing 2 Mac Pro models. And again, I think this would be a great marketing move for Apple to just embarrass the best that Intel has to offer in a Mac Pro with their own Apple Silicon in a Mac Pro. But let me know what you guys think of this story. Would you guys even be interested in something like an Intel Mac Pro, especially for my high-end Pro users, with something like an M1 Mac Pro coming out? Are you very heavily reliant on Intel processors, or will those crazy benchmarks that the M1 Mac Pro will have, are those going to sell you on going with Apple Silicon? Let me know in the comments down below, guys. Also, guys, like the video if you're liking the video. Subscribe and click the bell as we cover your favorite tech and video games. Got a ton of content. Be sure to check out my other Mac and iPad Pro videos over here and over there. I've got them listed. Thanks so much for watching. I'm getting into shorts more now, so you may see even more content from me regularly, even if it's in the form of smaller minute clips. YouTube Shorts is something I'm working with, so let me know if you like that content. Thanks, guys, so much for watching. As always, I'll see you in the next one. I'm Chris Grant Jr. It's the Grant Geek Show.